You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss Dame Lillard on his way to Milwaukee. Feel sorry for that, man. Also, the Blazers are now going to be shopping Jrue Holiday. Could the Bulls get involved? And lastly, Marc Eversley said on the radio today that the Bulls players said in their exit interviews they didn't really feel like a team. That's kind of concerning. Me and Pat are going to break it all down right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago. Wait. And host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. Hey, Pat, it's been one of those days, bro. Once in a while, as a content creator, you literally wait for news to drop. Yeah. And then you say, oh, I'm about to eat today. That's what happened today when Dame Lillard got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks of all teams. Now, we heard that a mystery team in the East. I don't think anybody thought that it was going to be the Bucks. On paper, it makes sense now that you think about it. So in this trade, the Bucks are getting Dame Lillard, Jrue Holiday is going to the Portland Trailblazers along with DeAndre Ayton. There's another player involved there.
It don't matter. Something Kamara, Timianu Kamara, whatever his name is.
And then they're also getting an unprotected first-round pick in 2029 and then unprotected pick swaps in 2028 and 2030. And then also out of this deal, the Phoenix Suns are going to be getting Yusuf Nurkic and Grayson Allen amongst Keon Johnson and a couple of other young players. What do you think about this trade, Pat?
All right, non-Bulls fan hat. Take the Bulls fan hat off. It's a great trade. I think this is a great trade for Portland. I think this is a great trade for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's still an incredibly deep team. You still have a lot of pieces on that bench that you feel like can be really good contributors to your team. You still have Brook Lopez. Still got Chris Middleton, who's basically now going to have to be a better point of attack defender, but he's basically your main defender on this team. Dame Lillard and Giannis speaks for itself. I think the biggest change that happens here, I've said this on a couple of shows, we've already done Locked On NBA, already done the Breeze, as you can see. I forgot to change that in the back, so shameless plug. Tune it, check out the Windy City Breeze as well. This changes how you have to guard the Milwaukee Bucks completely. You cannot guard the Milwaukee Bucks with the Giannis wall anymore. How Miami beat Milwaukee last season will not work. You want to know why? There's a dude out there that can shoot the basketball from 35 feet and make it consistently. So this is a great trade for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think on the Portland side, you get Jrue Holiday back. You probably end up flipping Jrue Holiday at some point.
Yeah, reports are they are looking to immediately flip him. So.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, right? Because you want to get that draft capital back. We'll talk about why the Bulls could actually make sense on that or not. And I think here's the thing. DeAndre Ayton with Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, whoever ends up being the number one there, that just makes your life easier. We finally get to see the team in Portland that we kind of wanted to see with Dame, just with the next generation of guys, because you got that big man that's going to be able to set the pick and roll and make your life easier when he just have to have somebody go up and get the basketball. And you also have that point guard that's going to be in there that I think could possibly be a next level player. Now, the problem is you've got three of kind of the same guy. So you got to figure out which one's the elite one.
But one of the three of the same guy.
Shaedon, Scoot, and Anthony. They're all
very different players.
But they all 6'2".
Shaedon's not 6'2".
He is 6'2".
Shaedon is 6'6", bro. Go look it up.
Shaedon is 6'6"?
He's 6'6".
Okay, two of the same guys. Anthony Simons and either way, you still got the same guy.
They're very different players. Like Scoot Henderson is much more of a I'm about to take you off the dribble. Anthony Simons is a shooter. So like I can see the fit between the three in riding off. I think that they may eventually maybe even look to move Anthony. I think that could be something not immediately, but coming down the pace depending on what else they get. But I really like the Portland Trailblazers roster now, right? As a young roster, they got Scoot, they got Shaden, they got Anthony Simons, they got Chris Murray, who I'm still extremely high on. Chris Murray, I really liked him in that draft. You now have DeAndre Ayton down there, who now he's going to be paired and have a coach in Chauncey Billups, whose job now is to get him out his own head, right? They still got Jeremy Grant down there as well. Will they look to move Jeremy Grant maybe in the next year or so? Could be a possibility. I don't really see, them wanting to just pay him money. Yeah. But I will say this as well. As a Bulls fan, you should take your Bulls fan hat off. I actually like this as a Bulls fan because I look at this young team and I say that this is a team within, keep in mind, we have the protection on that Portland first round pick until 2029. I think this team is going to make a playoffs before then. We're going to get that pick back eventually.
You think they hold on to the pick with it? To me, I think that the comments that DeMar DeRozan made today probably shot wanting to go with the pick in the foot.
What do you mean wanting to go with the pick?
Because DeMar DeRozan basically saying he wants to finish his career with the Chicago Bulls, and he wants like this.
What does that have to do with the pick?
That seems like the perfect thing for AK to do, which means you're going to try and win with this team. I think that could mean that the pick could
the Bulls
be
can win with this. I don't think that. I think even with DeMar wanting to finish his career as a Bull, you still need to have until the Bulls have a young player that seems like he's ready to make that next step and be that next player to build around. The Bulls, I don't see them giving up young opportunities at young players, especially with the pick that's going to be in the first round. I just don't see it. I think that they're going to hold on to that pick. I mean, they may, once the pick conveys, they may look to move that, but I think either way, we're going to get that pick, and it's going to be in our ownership. We can move it at that point, but I think we're going to get that pick.
What's the protection on it? It's top 10 protected or
no,
top 5?
It's basically if the Portland Trailblazers make the playoffs, we get the pick. That's the easiest way to do it.
I think my biggest question with all of that is the same question we've been asking all offseason coming into this season, right? Yeah, sounds great. I would love to have the pick. I'd love to use the pick. I'd love to go out and draft the next guy, right? But are we going to Dalen Terry this guy?
That's that. Now
you know what I mean? Like that's realistically,
right?
Dalen Terry is not a bottom of the first round pick. Dalen Terry is the 18th overall pick. That's 18th overall picks play.
Except unless you're Dalen Terry. I mean,
unless you're Dalen Terry, you know what I mean? Literally, every other 18th overall pick ever has played more than him.
He's played 18th overall pick of all time. Well, I do think though that the Bulls are, we had Peter Patton who we hired in. We had the foreign guy who we brought in the Windy City Bulls. Then we brought in another player, part of the player development team. So I think AK is slowly making the moves to focus more on player development, hopefully, because we need it. We need it.
Oh yeah, listen, and it's going to work out better developing inside, right? Like, you would rather see this team go out there, draft guys, develop guys, become one of those teams that we talk about all the time, right? The San Antonio Spurs, what they were for so long, the Golden State Warriors. But realistically, right, you've kind of got this core here now, and a core that unless somebody's going to come in already with the cachet to step in front of a Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, that you're going to have guys coming off the bench with, right? Like, I think one of the things that we talked about this offseason and during the season is DeMar DeRozan being ahead of P. Will, hindering his development. And it's a situation that the Bulls are in now where if you stick with this core of the team, I think that pick could be on the move. But as a Bulls fan, right, here's the bottom line. With Bulls fan hat back on, this sucks. Dame to Milwaukee sucks.
I listen, it sucks for what? The Bulls were never going to be at the same level Milwaukee. They were above the Bulls. They're still above the Bulls.
No, we was beating Milwaukee, though. We was finally beating Milwaukee.
It doesn't matter. I mean, overall record and overall, trajectory. I think the matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks, cool. I mean, stick Javon Carter and Alex Caruso on them, cool. Do what you can. But like you said, I get what you're saying, like as far as like beating the Bucks specifically, but long term, the Bulls are still trying to fight to avoid the play-in. We are two completely different aspiration levels as a team.
I mean, yeah, I think that they're still, at best they're a 5th seed, right? Maybe a 6th seed.
Yeah.
There's still a ceiling to this team, and it's going to take one of those young guys taking that next step for them to be able to go out there and be one of those teams at the top of the draft. But guess what? That's what the other teams did. That's how Boston's at the top. That's how Milwaukee's at the top, right? They developed Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I mean, I kind of have to give him credit for Bobby Portis as well.
I mean,
I kind of have to give him credit for Bobby Portis.
He refined a lot of his skill absolutely there in Milwaukee. Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to him, man. But before we get out of this segment, who won the trade? Overall, the three teams who won the trade. This is a trade where I look at everybody got exactly what they want. And keep in mind, the Portland Trailblazers are going to get at least a first-round pick back for Jrue Holiday, at least one. So you can add another one on there. But who do you think won the trade?
I mean, I think that Milwaukee has a shot at a finals, at a championship. So I guess that technically they won the trade. And
they're probably going to keep Giannis down.
If you're the Blazers, this is the scenario you wanted. You got draft capital back. You got solid players back in a 3-team trade. And you've got a young player and DeAndre Ayton, who I know a lot of people are down on, and I'm down on him as well, as you got shut down by Maxi Kleber out in Dallas. Like, that's shut down by Maxi Kleber. Shut down. Didn't exist during the game because of Maxi Kleber. But outside of that, DeAndre Ayton wanted to be a number one. This is your opportunity to go out there and try to be a number one. You can be the number one guy if you come out and you instantly play like the DeAndre Ayton that we thought you were coming out of college.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. That's a wait and see scenario. Phoenix didn't change to me. Everybody keeps saying that even Nick, right? We did Locked On NBA already. Nick said Phoenix got worse, and I'm like, Phoenix was going to. He said basically because they have questions at the center position now, and I was like, they had questions at the center position the entire time.
Yusuf Nurkic, yes, he's a question if he's going to be on the basketball court. We understand that, right? But there's a question that if DeAndre Ayton is actually on the basketball court when he was on the court, that's a completely different scenario there. Completely different.
With that team that you have over there, you giving Bol a shot? I'm giving Bol a shot.
You know what?
I really am. You know what? I'm giving Bol a shot.
You may be on to something there.
I'm not Nurkic. Nurkic off the bench for me, right? Or maybe Nurkic is a starting center in this league. He's just not healthy.
Nurkic is a starting center in this league.
He's not healthy.
Has to stay healthy.
But
give him a sense of
with that team, I'm giving Bol a shot.
I mean, I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see. Next up, we're going to be talking about Jrue Holiday and could the Bulls get in the talks there. But before we do that, I got to talk to you guys about our sponsor, and that is DoorDash. Do you need fresh groceries for the week but don't have time to go to the store? Try grocery delivery from DoorDash. You'll get everything you want delivered when you need it right to your door. You've trusted DoorDash to deliver your restaurant favorites, and now you can get grocery delivery that actually delivers to. I murdered that word. Don't judge me on that.
You were struggling on that.
Yeah, I was struggling. Listen, tongue-tied. With thousands of grocery stores to choose from, you'll find the best in your neighborhood and boost your local economy with each order. You'll get exactly what you ordered, or we'll make it right. So sit back and enjoy quality groceries just like you picked them yourself. Want even more value? You can save on all your grocery and restaurant favorites with a $0 delivery fee on all eligible. There goes that L's again. Eligible orders with DoorDash with Dash Pass membership. With easy substitutions right in the app and best in-class customer support, DoorDash delivers groceries exactly how you want it. So does Mariah Mills, apparently. Get 50% off your DoorDash order with $20 value when you use code LOCKEDONNBA at checkout. Limited offer. Terms apply. That's 50% off up to $20. No minimum subtotal and $0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store. Enter code Locked On. Don't forget that's code Locked On for 50% off your first order with DoorDash.
Jesus.
The groceries got to be fresh, bro. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to nail that point home, bro. Like the groceries.
Your chick come close to me, she ain't going home where she supposed to be. That's what I believe that's what the song said, ain't it?
That's what it said. With that said, man, the Blazers are reportedly immediately looking to shop Jrue Holiday, which naturally, as you know, I've said it before, every offseason, anybody that's moved, Bulls fans want to get in on that. Jrue Holiday, on paper, theoretically, brings so much of what Lonzo Ball brought to this team. I would love to see him next to Zach LaVine, but how do you feel the chances are for Bulls trading for Jrue Holiday?
I think the chances for the Bulls are, I don't want to say great. I would say somewhere between mid and good, just because of the protection on the pick. That's the only reason I believe that. Like, I think that the Bulls can also offer contracts that basically just open up money, right? but I don't know what AK is willing to send. I would love to see it because I think realistically you're talking about a deal that maybe includes P. Will, giving up on P. Will, right? I know that's the taboo thing to say. You include the Lonzo Ball contract and that draft capital. I believe that gets you to 30. I think that gets you to 32 mil. You got to do some stuff to make the money work.
Lonzo and Pat get you
30,
right at 30 million, close to 31 million.
And then whatever the value of I don't even know if you can have value on pick that's a protected pick.
Oh, well, the value doesn't count towards the salary cap, so you still got to match the salary cap. So they still would have to throw in another 2 to 3 million.
Sign Javonte, right? Finally sign Javonte, send him over there. Yeah, I mean, like, let's get that done. So I think that you could get the job done because they want the protection. They clearly don't want a veteran presence on their team because if they did, right, that old school savvy vet guy like a Jrue Holiday, you wouldn't be trading Jrue Holiday because you could just say, hey, Jrue, wouldn't you like to come off of our bench and mentor our young players? And I think in that situation, I would love that. I know you're giving up on Pat Will, but you've still got a ton of young players here. You've got the next generation of young players in Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips still on your team, possibly Adama Sanago if that's what you do. Maybe Carlik gets some minutes, not if Haize is the coach. But, I mean.
Minutes at ball boy for sure.
Minutes at water boy. Yeah. Minutes at seat warmer. Can you keep this hot for me when I get
double
back?
seat warmer?
Appreciate you. But I think with that situation there, right, to me, you've got a Jrue Holiday, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic starting lineup. You're still holding on to Alex Caruso, or maybe you swap. You don't want to get rid of him. I think they'd rather have a Caruso because he does a specific job.
But
than a
when
P.
you
Will.
have Drew's defensively.
Exactly.
Do you look in maybe to give up Alex Caruso? Yeah.
And that's the reason I said it. I would be in on this move because I think, one, the Bulls stay as elite as they were defensively, and you go out and get a guy that actually can score the basketball and keep the offense on track. I think that is worth giving up on P. Will right now.
See, here's my perspective on it. I think that, I don't see AK getting involved if it takes any future draft assets other than removing the protection from Portland's pick. And then if you can convince them to take the Lonzo contract, if those two things are non-sellers, right? If they say, hey, we want Jrue here. We need to work around the framework of removing the protections, sending you Lonzo's contract. How else can we get this done? I think the Bulls can get it done. I do not see AK giving up any future assets than what he's already given up to get Dame and Vooch here right now for what could be a 1-year rental. It would be different if Jrue was under a 4-year contract. Keep in mind, he can opt out, player option, as soon as next summer. Yep. I do not see AK giving up our own future assets for a potential 1-year rental. And that contract is really hard to match because theoretically, we could match it easily, but we can't move Kobe. We can't move Io. We can't move any of our rookies. We can't move anybody that we signed recently or re-signed until the end of December. If Portland is looking to get a job done right now, that really limits what the Bulls have to match that $34 million contract.
Yeah, and I think the only deal that's on the table basically is the one that I put forth.
Yeah, that's it.
You're really getting a young, I think. To me, Portland would be willing to do that deal. Portland gets their picks back, basically, because they can't do anything with their draft capital. They get their pick back finally, and they get a young player that maybe they're more willing to develop. Maybe they're more willing to take more time with. Maybe they actually can develop. I think Portland's got a pretty good development staff out there. And you get the money off of the books from Lonzo Ball because we know the second that Lonzo's traded, they're putting in for the career-ending exception to anybody.
Because they don't care. They don't care. Yeah. Now, I will say this. If the Bulls do trade Lonzo Ball before they use the disabled player exception, we lose the ability to use it, which is fine. If you're getting a player back like Jrue Holiday, that's fine. Jrue. Yeah.
I'm on board for it. I would love to see the Bulls do that. I think that, to me, that's a situation where you're talking about a team that actually can compete in this East, as this East just got a heck of a lot better. And by doing that, you're keeping Jrue Holiday away from a team that basically fell asleep on the job in Miami, because I think that's the team that's on the phone.
Here's the thing. Now, well, they said Philly. I don't think there's any way Pat Riley now makes a deal for a different point guard with Portland, because Pat Riley is petty.
No, Pat Riley is getting old. That's what Pat Riley is.
And he's also petty.
Pat
Riley
old
people don't give a damn. Oh,
bro,
people
but
don't
it's
get
just like I get it, and I said this on Locked On NBA. I said this months ago on Locked On NBA, and everybody was like, "Pat, you tripping?" Pat Riley has now missed on getting 3 deals done for elite players to pair next to Jimmy Butler. He's taking you to the finals twice. If you had a player of half their ilk, we'd be talking about them very differently. And so for me, Pat Riley's getting old, and he's missing in action. They said that he just didn't call Portland back. He fell asleep, bro.
No, you know what it was?
He
It wasn't that he fell asleep.
him.
He didn't fall
asleep. Him, bro.
Pat Riley literally was probably sitting there like, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to ignore their calls, and then they're going to eventually get desperate and have to call me back. He's probably sitting there like, hey.
Bro.
And then the phone started ringing. He was probably like, hey, that's Portland. I bet you they're willing to take this deal. What? He got traded where?
He Birdman's handing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're ready for this.
Going to get this deal done. Wait a second. What? Yeah.
Bro, like
somebody got smacked with a baby powdered hand today in Miami's office.
That didn't deserve it
at all. Like,
it was just like, I got you.
Like, he got on there. He's like, excuse me, Philip, can you come to my office real quick? Philip just walked in the office. He just pop. It's mushed right in the face.
What's that? What's up, boy? Is it not Triple H? Who was it? From WWE. He was like, what's your name? Dave. Wow. I just had to kick Dave in the face. Why can't I think of D-Generation X all of a sudden? You don't remember that, bro? That
was it Trips?
It wasn't Triple H. It was Shawn Michaels.
Oh, okay.
Shawn Michaels kicked the boy in the face. He's like, they said, you don't have edge. I don't have edge. What's your name? Dave. Nice to meet you, Dave. Wow. I just kicked Dave in the face. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like that's what Pat Riley's doing around the office today. He's just walking down the line, kicking people in the face, bro. Yeah, that's bro, funny. Because he's so upset. You know what I mean? So but you fell asleep at the wheel. I think the Bulls can't allow the Eastern Conference to get better.
You said that like right now the Bulls don't need to worry about the Eastern Conference getting better. They need to worry about fixing their roster. Like I don't think the Bulls are in a place right now we're like we need to keep this team from. I mean, no, don't get me wrong, Jrue Holiday is, but like I don't see that the Bulls give up what the Portland Trailblazers can probably get elsewhere for Jrue, and I'd love to be wrong on that. If they can maneuver Lonzo Ball's contract and whatever else to bring Jrue Holiday here, do it. But we'll see. We'll see, man.
It's do you think the one question I do have, do you think that there was some tampering going on, some chicanery going on? That's what Jimmy Butler said right after. I was like, was Jimmy joking at this, bro? Like, how could you tamper this? Like,
listen, the only thing Jimmy needs to make sure is he doesn't put those goddamn extensions back in his head this offseason. That's what he needs.
It looked like he was prepping to do that in the video, didn't it? It looked like he was prepping to do that in the video.
We got one last stop before we get out of here. We want to remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. It's every once in a while you get something concerning, right? Marc Eversley and Arturas Karnisovas were on 670 The Score today, and Marc Eversley had a quote here that I had to send you, Pat, because I'm not gonna lie to you. Reading that, it was like, come on, man. So he said this, is that Bulls players said in the exit interviews at the end of last season that they didn't feel like they were really, really a team. Is that not a little bit concerning for a core that had been together at that point for 2 years? Most of that roster's been together for 2 years.
No, because I think that they didn't feel like a team because there was an expectation on Lonzo coming back. Even Vooch talked about that before re-signing or after re-signing.
Monkey shouldn't stop no show, though.
Jesus Christ, bro. That's the line you're going with there, bro.
I'm going for. I'm staying on it. I'm not even going to back down from it. One monkey don't stop no show.
Hey, listen.
Listen, if it's good enough for Goody Mob to say it, I can say it on Locked On. I'm not backing down from that. Not backing down from it. I don't care.
I swear to y'all, Haize is black sometimes. But no, but in realistic sense, it shouldn't have, right? But even Vooch talked about how it did. He said we were kind of waiting on that. There was this, okay, he's going to be back, and then we'll be back, and blah, blah, blah. I think that they put so much on Lonzo. And should it? I agree it shouldn't. Yeah, but I think that it did. And I think that, listen, that's a problem. That's one of the problems that I do have with this team. There was nobody on this team to say, hey, boys, Lonzo ain't coming back. How about we get our heads out of our butts and go out here and play some basketball? That's why I asked the question, who's going to be the Patrick Beverley of this team? Because it's nobody that's currently on the team. We can talk about skill. We can talk about talent. We can talk about all of that. If we have the Jrue Holiday conversation, the one thing I know Drew's going to do, he going to talk. He not going to be quiet. He going to smack somebody with his ring.
Put the ring on the table in the mid argument.
He going to smack Billy Donovan. He's going to smack Billy Donovan, bro. He's just going to be like, listen, Billy, I know you've been there, but you didn't get the job done.
Listen, I would love nothing more than for Jrue Holiday to Latrell Sprewell.
I feel like Billy Donovan got some mob connections. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean, he does seem a little Vinny Del Negro like.
Billy got some connections, bro. You might not want to smack Billy. I ain't gonna lie to you. And later news, Jrue Holiday missing.
What? Can they connect him with a scheme adjustment in the fourth quarter? Can they connect him with that? That's what I need his connects to get him with. Like.
Hey man, I think that that there's nobody on this team that is that. And when you don't have that guy, little things, and it's not little team wise, right? Losing Lonzo was a big thing, but things like that derail your entire team. And when people sit there and talk about why was Jimmy Butler still able to go to the NBA Finals when he loses Tyler Hero, because Jimmy's the voice. When you see the Miami Heat, when you see who's yelling when you see who's getting in fights with Eric Spoelstra, it's Jimmy Butler.
We don't have a lot of arguments last year,
bro. They was really well, I think it was him and UD, but have it on pretty
UD
good.
too. But
I have it on. UD came in after. I have it on pretty good authority to Jimmy and him through the ones.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Remember Jimmy was snapping on Spo? He was like snapping. And Spo was like, oh, you going at me? And Spo started going back at him. And then UD was like, hey, who you talking to? I have it on pretty good authority that they shot the ones after that.
I mean, listen, you got to do what you got to do, man. Like, hey, listen, you don't mess with the old head that comes outside with bald spots on the back of his head. Like, first of all, who balds there? Like, he bald, like, in spots. You don't mess with that old head, bro. They've been through some stuff.
Thibodeau is an elite balding man. You know what I mean?
But
his holding here and here. That is elite. Ain't keeping the hair. And he just got like an island right here.
Yeah, but I mean, his more so follows the pattern of male pattern baldness. Udonis Haslem is something different, bro. Like, it really looks like somebody sneezed while they were doing his taper on the back of his head and just kept it moving. Like, it just
UD's back of the head looked like how Brown's front of the head used to look before he got the lace front put in.
Exactly.
LeBron got a BBL on his hair, but I just at the end of the day, listen, I get why they felt like it wasn't a team. I don't like it, but I understand it because I think that they've talked about it ad nauseum.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's concerning to hear a core that's been together didn't really feel like a team, but that is why we've been talking so much about the importance of this team building that identity. And so they really need to be focused on that. And it is what it is. We'll see it. They don't have the leader like a Spo, right? They don't have that. They don't have a leader on the court like a Jimmy. So we got to make the best of what we can. And we'll see what this team ends up being. But like I saw that quote and I was just like, come on, man. This is where we at.
If you feel like, and I do feel like this, but if you feel like Jrue Holiday is that voice, do you make the trade to finally get leadership in the building?
You don't make a $35 million trade just for leadership, but he also brings what we need on the court. The fact of the matter
he brings everything else, but also the leadership comes with it.
It really depends on if you can convince Portland to make a move on a deal that's mainly built around Lonzo's contract and the protections on their own first round pick. If that is the main pieces going back and you got to fill out salary other than that, you get it done. I don't think AK is going to get it done, needing to send multiple firsts, needing to send P. Will and Dalen Terry. And like, I don't think they do that. And I don't know if even that's what Portland's going to want for it. Who's to say that? I'm just saying that I think that if it comes to their own first round picks, which the Bulls are finally getting all those back after next year, I don't know if I see AK doing that.
Yeah.
Not for a 1 year rental. It's the combination of those things.
I don't know if I see it for that. I also think that if you got Jrue here, Jrue probably would. I mean, it depends on how the season goes, but I think Jrue would probably stick around. Jrue got to have a crib here by this point. At least this is still close to home. Semi-home.
We'll see. I mean, listen.
He gotta have a crib here by this point. How long he been here? Or how long he been in Milwaukee? Jrue Holiday been in Milwaukee like 5 years, ain't he?
Has he? Has he been there that long?
Something like that, bro. He been there for a minute, bro. They won a ring his first year there. What is that? 2020?
He's been there 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, he gotta have a crib.
I mean, in Milwaukee though, that's not. I mean, you can't live in Milwaukee and play and shit. I guess you could technically, but like, come on, man. You gotta want to leave Milwaukee.
You sell that John for a third of what it's actually worth in Chicago. You buy a crib in Lake Forest. You call it a day. He got money. He got 35 mil. What are we talking about?
Oh man, anything left, bro? Before we get up out of here, man.
Tyler Hero coming? No, all right, don't worry about it. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat The Designer. Appreciate you guys for showing love.
Make sure y'all clean those groceries before you go home. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. See, going back to the joke earlier. Yeah, it is what it is. Haize. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. Me and Pat will be back tomorrow. And for Pat
and porn star.
What?
For Pat,
that's a lot of groceries.
I mean, it depends on who your lady is.
That's a hefty bill. That's a hefty bill.
Peace, y'all, man. We out of here, y'all. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'm only 29. They say once you hit 30, you start messing with groceries. I don't know. I haven't ventured. I've heard this too many times. 30 is the grocery shopping age.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh God! Wait a minute.